Hey guys, Gary, grateful recovering alcoholic and drug addict. A lot of us made New Year's resolutions. A lot of us, it was to quit drinking, quit doing drugs, quit drinking, maybe quitting fentanyl. And I would suggest anybody trying to get sober to not do it alone. Do it with people that are doing, that have the same kind of goal as you do. And I found those people in meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Crystal Meth Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. I've gone to all those meetings. I usually go to AA meetings. It's all the same to me. An addict's an addict, and I'm an addict. I'm addicted to all those substances. So, and one substance, if you've been doing it long enough, like I've been doing it, you can cross addict. You can stop your alcohol or stop your cocaine use, right? And go, okay, I'm never doing cocaine again. But you continue drinking, and you're not, an alcoholic. But what happens is we do that. We start drinking alcohol and we can cross addict, or we just get fucked up one night and go, you know what, fuck it, cocaine sounds pretty good to me, and it lowers your defenses. So I was kind of that way, but I've got my share of drunk drivings and all that stuff. But I'm an alcoholic. I go into an AA meeting, I say I'm an alcoholic. I go into an NA meeting, I'm saying I'm an addict. So I'm an addict. I'm addicted to a lot of things. Alcohol is one of them. And abstinence is the best thing to do if you're trying to kick anything. Get off everything. Because it weakens you. Like I said, it weakens you, or you'll have a bad day and have a drink and then just go fuck it and throw it out the window, and then you're right back on the path. Take it from somebody who knows. I've gone down these paths, and very unsuccessfully. The best thing that works for me, that I've ever seen, for anybody else also, is to jump into a program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, so say you've been sober for a few days, few weeks, and you're starting to get in contact with this higher power. I call mine God. I'm not going to get too into that, what I think God is or anything like that, but I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. I go to Catholic church, so my God can be totally different than yours, and I know atheists in this program with 25 years and 40 years. So, but they do realize there's a power greater than themselves out there. So, and you need that belief. What's cool is, okay, when you get bound up, and I've been bound up big time in sobriety. Something horrendous will happen, or I'll get so pissed off at somebody, or I lose a job, right? I've lost a job in sobriety, and here's what helps me. And it's in this book called Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's the greatest thing to rely on, okay? I'm going to read it to you too, all right? What it says, it's on page 417 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It says, and acceptance is the answer. And I got to tell you, let me back up a second. This was hard to swallow. But I knew when I lost my son to an accidental fentanyl overdose, I was 4 months sober, and I knew I was in danger. Even though I didn't have the urge to drink or do drugs at that time, I knew I was in danger because I was hurting so bad. My insides were just torn apart. My heart was ripped out of my chest. And I knew I was in trouble. And I had to gravitate towards God. I could have either blamed God or gravitated towards him. And I chose to gravitate towards him because I've been pissed at God before, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I want to live my life sober. So I had to, with all that pain, I had to sit and have a talk with myself, What do you want to do with this? What do you want to do with the loss of your son? And I chose, I'm going to stay sober the rest of my life, and I'm going to help people, make people fentanyl aware, and I'm going to have as loud a voice as I can. And I don't have much of a voice because I don't have a lot of following or whatever on YouTube, but I do on TikTok and on those other platforms. But the biggest thing that got me through this, right, is I had to accept what was completely fucking unacceptable to me. It was totally unacceptable for me to lose my son to fentanyl. So how do I stay sober? How do I even stay happy if something that devastating happens and it's just fucking unacceptable, right? You have to learn to accept what's happened. There's nothing I can do about the past. And I had to look at where I was wrong in the past with my son, and I make a lifetime amends to him, which is never to drink, a day at a time. The other thing that helped me get through this is powerful to me, and I don't know if it'll be as powerful to you, but it's worth, if you're not even in the program, it's worth getting this book, Alcoholics Anonymous, the 4th edition. Go to page 417, middle of the page, okay? When something horrendous happens like that, or something that could take you out of being sober, read this. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And until I can find no serenity until I can accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be. At this moment, nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I couldn't stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, even the death of my son, I could not be happy. I need to concentrate not so much as what needs to be changed in the world, as what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. And I go to him, I go to God for that power, go to your higher power for that power. I love this, man. This has kept me, those words on page 417, I can't tell you, they bring me out of depression. They help me accept. If I walk through the world and I'm not accepting life on life's terms, I'm fucking pissed off all the time. And I'm pissed at you, I'm pissed at them, I'm pissed at myself. I have to accept life on life's terms. I have to. And it's really difficult to accept life on life's terms without a higher power. Nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Nothing. So I had to come to terms with that with my son. I had to wrestle with that. God put him on this earth for 27 years. And what a blessing that was. See, that's how I have to look at it. Not why did you take him from me? But what a blessing it was to have him for 27 years. And the memories I'll have. I wouldn't be sober today if it wasn't for my son. That's a different story, but I can think of all the gifts that relationship has given me. And they're beautiful. It's beautiful. It warms my heart. To think of my son, yeah, I get sad, but it warms my heart. Do I miss him? Yeah, I miss the hell out of him, but it warms my heart when I think of him. He was a character. He had a great sense of humor. He was so loving and compassionate and kind, and there were times where he taught me compassion, so I think of those moments, and then I say, thank you, God, for giving me 27 years with that beautiful spirit. And I believe I'll see him again when it's my time. So when you're living a spiritual life, you think in a spiritual realm, you think in a spiritual way, and you realize that you're not in charge, especially when something big like that happens. I have no power. And you go to the one who does, God. I've spent many nights on my knees in tears, just trying to be in acceptance of that event. So And I also, God gave me the strength to stand up at my son's memorial. We had a service for him, and I gave him the eulogy, the best one that I could do at that time, the one he deserved, and honored his character, his spirit, his humor, and his life on earth with his friends and with family, with people that absolutely loved him to death. And it wasn't it was a sad time, but people were laughing and people were honoring his spirit and his time spent on earth here. So when I couldn't even imagine walking through that and not having, God in my corner. I couldn't even imagine being like some non-believer trying to find my way through life with an event like that. You just walk around bitter and angry. Who knows which way life will turn, or loaded. The worst thing for me would be loaded. So that's just what I do, So little fentanyl awareness, I do it at the end of every video. Hopefully you guys gave me a thumbs up by this point. Probably have no viewers at this point. Okay, so fentanyl, it's the most dangerous drug out there right now. They've got another drug called Trank, which they mix with fentanyl. It's a horse tranquilizer. And that's just rotting people's limbs off and giving them infections, and they're losing limbs or dying from infection. It's insane. The drug is made in communist China. 90% of it comes out of communist China. I get a lot of comments back and forth. I don't know what I'm talking about, this, that, and the other. 90% of it comes out of communist China. Okay? It's shipped to the Sinaloa cartel. And I've had people say, you don't know what you're talking about. The cartel doesn't put it in pills and stuff. I've had people say, I'm with the cartel and you better watch what you say. It's pressed into pills from the Sinaloa cartel. They press it into pills. They mix it into cocaine. All they're trying to do is hook you and reel you in. Okay. Once you're hooked on fentanyl, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 times on fentanyl and you're hooked. It's that powerful. They want to hook you and they want repeat business. The problem with fentanyl is it's so powerful, it's very difficult to dose. So if they're not dosing it in a lab, which they're not, they're mixing it up in buckets and in bathtubs, and they press it into pills, and they scatter those pills throughout the United States. And some of those pills have lethal doses in them to kill 15 or 20 people. And people say, oh, that's wrong, you're wrong. Why is everybody dying if I'm wrong? That's the truth, okay? The people that don't know what they're talking about are the people that want you to keep buying the drug. People that think they know everything. And then they're going to end up taking a lethal dose, and I hope they don't. So it's pressed into pills like Xanax. They make it look like pharmaceutical Xanax. Any kind of pill that you're going to get over the counter, they try to replicate that pill and scatter it out throughout the United States. And if that pill has a lethal dose, you fall asleep, you never wake up. You're just another fentanyl statistic of that 110,000 people that we lost in 2022. And we're probably going to close out 2023 with the same kind of numbers. So 250,000 people in 2 years. And a lot of that would be cut down if we had a tight border security, which we don't have a tight border security anymore. And you guys, want to make this political. I've had comments back and forth. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a Trumpster and all this shit. Look, Trump kept the border secure. The border is unsecure now. Got a bunch of people that don't care running the country right now. And they want votes. So they want as many illegals in here as possible so they can then later place a law and make them vote. They don't care about all of the fentanyl coming over the border, all the trafficking, The loss of children. They've lost track of 85,000 children coming across our border. Unbelievable. Just completely unbelievable. Where do you think these children are? You know, I'm not going to get off on that's a whole nother video, but they're sold into slavery. They're sold into slavery, and it's not a good picture. Their lives are ruined. Their lives are ruined if they do escape from that after a year or two. They're scarred mentally, spiritually for life, you know. So it's just a terrible thing going on at the border. Anyways, back on the fentanyl, number one leading cause of death from the ages of 16 to 45. And that 12 to 16, that group is the fastest growing group. So can you imagine getting your 12 or 13, 14-year-old dying from fentanyl overdose? They've never taken it before, but they want to take ecstasy. They're at a party and their friends have little ecstasy pills, and they're all going to trip on ecstasy, so they take a pill and they fall asleep and they're dead. Or they want to try cocaine for the first time. They do a little line of cocaine, they fall asleep, they die. It's very dangerous. If your kids are that young, know what they're doing. Know what they're doing. Communicate with them. Talk to them. Ask them, you know, what kind of drugs are going on at school. Tell them what kind of drugs would go on, you know, when you were in school. Have that line of communication open with your kids. Kids get very difficult from the ages of 12, 13, 14. They're entering preteens and teens, man. They're a pain in the ass, right? They don't want to talk to mom and dad about anything. We don't know what we're talking about. I can't tell you the amount of times that I lost, you know, the son that I lost, that he came back and he said, you know, I'd say, don't do this because this or this will happen. And probably 5 or 6 times in life. And he came back and he said, Dad, you were right. That's exactly what happened. So listen to your elders, listen to the people that have come before you. And then there's going to be people like me that just don't listen. You know, you got to find out for yourself. I've been very lucky. I've been extremely lucky because I lived such a reckless life for so long. And extremely lucky. So I'm going to try to help people with my story. Try to help people with as much knowledge as I've gained out on the streets, and as much knowledge as I've gained with multiple years of being sober, almost 20 years of being sober, and try to save one life. If I could save one life, I did a great job, right? So you guys be careful out there. And until next time, remember, if you liked what you heard, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'd be love to have you on here.